What is up, mental patients? My name is Tormental, and if you've been watching my channel, you know that I've been doing top 10 lists for new roles that should be added to Town of Salem from my own suggestions. Keep it in the family, I guess, if you're just your own family. Anyway, I did Town, Mafia, Neutral Killing, Neutral Evil, Neutral Benign. What could be left? Well, here is the Zombie Apocalypse role set. This is a top 5, not a top 10, because there's only 5 suggestions. I don't know what it is about zombies. People take to them, they're kind of overused to a certain extent. But I don't think anybody can deny that there's some core value to the concept that people really dig. So let's just get started here with number 5, the zombie. Of course, you need a zombie if you're going to have a zombie set. The zombie is neutral evil, okay? You choose one player at night to turn into a zombie. That player doesn't die. They don't, you're not killing people. You're not neutral killing. Their role gets changed to zombie. So if they're a sheriff and you bite them at night, they become a zombie. If they're Godfather, they become a zombie, etc. and so forth. It might actually, I don't know, I'd have to backpedal on the Godfather thing. It might not go through night immunity, because meh. So as the zombie, you will be able to win with other zombies only. So, in other words, you have to take over the town. You have to make somebody else a zombie, and they have to make somebody else a zombie, and so on and so forth, until there are only zombies in town, and you just hang anybody who isn't a zombie, like the serial killer or whatever, if you go with that thing about not being able to turn people who are night immune. Turning someone into a zombie fully replaces their current role with zombie, as I said. Zombies cannot vote to lynch each other. The reason for this being that when you turn somebody into a zombie, they shouldn't be able to get mad and then just vote you up and throw the game. So, that was kind of a fail-safe measure there. You cannot turn someone who is night immune or otherwise protected from death, and that's the debatable part. I don't know, you guys have to let me know whether you think it's good to keep people immune or whether people who are immune should be bitten. I don't know. But yeah, if you're saved from death, like vest, healing, etc., it'll say that you were attacked and saved. Now, keep in mind the zombie doesn't actually kill you and put you in the graveyard. It just turns you into a zombie. But things that would have protected you from death protect you from a zombie's bite too. Alright, does that make sense? Yeah. If you do not successfully turn one player into a zombie for 3 nights, you starve to death, okay? Now, the thing is, you can only turn one person into a zombie, and then they have to turn another person into a zombie. But my thought is, if any zombie dies, like let's say there's 2 zombies in the game, one of them turned the other. If the person that got turned quits because they're salty or they get killed, by lynching or murder, then you as the original zombie have to turn someone again. It'll say something at night like, you're the only zombie in town, you must, feed again. So, this is kind of, it seems on the surface like a complicated role, and I can't necessarily disagree with that to a certain extent, but I think it would be very fun to try to turn people in town into zombies until there's nobody left but zombies to vote up the people who are not zombies. And how would you know who isn't a zombie? Well, you could vote for them, because you can't vote for your other zombies. This probably will be similar to the vampire, because they say, the blank media people say, vampires will be able to turn other people into the vampires and then they get a night chat with each other. I don't really know how that's going to work. I don't know if they know necessarily how that's going to work. So until that goes in and we really see what the vampire is going to be, this, sort of stands on its own as this is how the zombie works. Number 4 on the list is the carrier. The carrier is another neutral evil role. Anyone who visits you during the night will become a zombie. So this is like a veteran, but instead of killing everybody who visits you, you turn them into zombies. I don't know if this would be like an alert system or not. The way I've written it, it's not an alert system. It just is if people visit you, they get turned into a zombie. So yeah, if the jailer jails you and does not execute, you will turn them into a zombie, okay? You win with other zombies, just like the zombie role. The carrier basically is a zombie, but with different conditions about how they turn people. Now here's the hitch, okay? You have to be attacked once for your abilities to start taking effect. So if people visit you before you're attacked, nothing will happen to them. But if you get attacked and quote-unquote killed, instead of dying, you become an active carrier. So if the serial killer comes to stab you, he doesn't kill you, he makes your power start working. Okay, so you do nothing to visitors until someone first tries to kill you. If the jailer executes you, you just die, of course. If you're doused before your abilities start taking effect, you can still be burnt by the arsonist without doing anything to the arsonist. Like, the arsonist won't become a zombie if he lights you up, if he doused you before your powers started working. The bodyguard and the doctor can still save you from someone if they guard or heal the person visiting you. So in other words, or not save you from someone, they can save someone from you. So in other words, if somebody visits you and you would have turned them into a zombie, if they're bodyguarded or healed by a doctor, their powers work on you as if you were trying to kill that person, and they save the person. In other words, you have to be, and this is in the comments, the additional information, you have to be killed at night by the serial killer, vigilante, mafia, etc., before your abilities start working. And, killed is in quotation marks because you're not actually dying. It's just that they try to. From that point forward, anyone who visits you will become a zombie. And people will be notified. They will say, you were bitten by the zombie you visited. You are now a zombie, or you're bitten by the carrier you visited, whichever. Number 3 is the Grave Robber. The Grave Robber is neutral evil. You select someone each night, and if that person is killed, they are converted into a zombie instead of dying. So if I am the Grave Robber, and I select Magnasword, and he dies that night, he turns into a zombie instead of dying. Okay? This may seem like an underpowered role. You're probably thinking to yourself, why are there so many ways to turn people into zombies? Why are you creating roles that have all different ways of making zombies happen in the round? Well, because this is the zombie apocalypse set. And, one of these people may actually be in a round with you. You may get in a round with the carrier, with the grave robber, with just a regular zombie. So, I decided to put all different flavors of zombie apocalypse characters. What makes the grave robber special is that you can hear ghost chat at night, though the names are anonymous and you do not hear the medium. So you'll hear ghost chat every night, but it'll just say something like, Ghost, I can't believe I died. Ghost, yeah, I can't believe you died too. So in other words, everybody's voice or everybody's name will come up as Ghost. You cannot be turned into a zombie as the grave robber. That would be the same with the carrier too. Like if a zombie bites you, you don't become a zombie because you're already a zombie-themed character. Number 2 is the Cremator. The Arsonist was my least favorite role until they added Werewolf. So Arsonist and Werewolf would be my 2 least favorite roles. However, here's something related to like an Arsonist type character that I think would be actually kind of cool. This is the only town member in the zombie apocalypse set, okay? The Cremator is town killing. You select up to 3 players to douse, 1 per night. So you're sort of like the Vigilante can shoot up to 3 people. The Cremator can douse up to 3 people. You can select yourself once to light. After you light, you can't douse new people and you can't light up again. So in other words, you get 1 shot at it. You got to douse 3 people that you think are evil or zombies. This is the thing is these roles can work in rounds without any other zombie roles. The Cremator could be in a Town of Salem round with no zombies in it. These are all like roles that could easily stand alone, even though they're in the themed sort of role pack of the zombie apocalypse. So yeah, you can douse up to 3 people that you think are evil in general, and select yourself at once to light. And the thing about this is, which I think is interesting, let's say you're the Cremator. Okay, you think someone is Godfather or Mayor because of what the investigator said, so you douse them, okay? And then you douse like 2 more people that you're sure are evil. Right after that, the person you first doused reveals as Mayor, and it turns out he really was Mayor. And now you're like, oh crap, I have him doused, but I have these other 2 evil people doused. So what do? Do you light up and kill the Mayor along with the 2 evil people? Or do you wait and hope that things go well, and possibly the town loses because you didn't light and kill 2 people who were like the last evil people? So it's kind of an interesting role. I think it would be an interesting guessing game. If you successfully burn a zombie as the Cremator, all of the zombies' victims will return to their original roles. Okay, so if you burn a zombie who turned Magnasword into a zombie, then Magnasword turns back to his original role. It only works if you burn the zombie who turned that person, okay? This is the only way to return a zombie to their original self, in terms of what I've written here. You might set the wrong person on fire, but them's the breaks. Number 1 on the zombie apocalypse roll list suggestion list of listiness is the Shifter. The Shifter is based on The Thing. If you've seen John Carpenter's movie The Thing, where basically a thing takes the shape of people, and it's sort of is just like a big meat monster. But yeah, the Shifter is neutral evil. If you are lynched, like the Jester, you can take the place of any guilty voter. Okay? So let's say you get lynched and, 2 or 3 people vote you guilty. You can take the place of one of those people, and nobody will know who you replaced. Okay? If you are killed at night, you can take the place of your killer. Okay? If your killer is in the mafia, you can take the place of any mafia member. So if the mafia kills you, you could take the place of the blackmailer. You could take the place of the forger. You could take the place of anyone in there. The thing is, if you do take the place of a mafia member, they're going to wonder why you're not in mafia chat. But, that's a story for a different time. Once you come back, you are a zombie. Okay, so if you are the Shifter and you get hung or you get killed at night and you choose to come back as someone who killed you, then your role changes to zombie, sort of like an amnesiac remembering a different role. Okay, you can wait to replace somebody. You don't need to choose on the first night. So any night in the game, you can choose to replace someone who killed you, whether it was through a guilty lynching or, a killer, like serial killer, mafia, somebody killing you. You will take the name and the appearance of whoever you replace, of course, like Disguiser, and you won't leave a corpse. This isn't like the Disguiser in that, you're going to be found out because there's going to be a corpse the next day with a will on it that implicates you. Since you're already dead and you're choosing to swap places with someone who's living, there's not going to be a will exposing you. As I put in the comments here, imagine the shock when people see a Shifter in the graveyard. Now there's an entirely new level of suspicion and information gathering. Maybe the Shifter hasn't replaced anyone yet. Maybe they're waiting. Maybe not. Maybe your best ally is now out to turn you. So, yeah, if a sheriff is proven, everybody knows he's the sheriff, and he votes guilty on you during the lynching, you might want to replace the sheriff and come back as him. And now that person who was the sheriff is a zombie trying to turn everyone in the town into the zombie role, which we saw back in number 5. So yeah, that's the zombie apocalypse role set. As you can see, each role works on its own. You don't need to have a specific lineup that has, all the zombie roles in it. You could just have one zombie role in it. You could just have the carrier. You could just have the cremator. You could just have the Shifter or the grave robber. You could have pretty much anybody. But it would be a lot of fun to have all of them in one round versus town. I just think that would be cool. Town versus zombies. Alright, so that's that, and I hope you like that bonus video. It's sort of a little extra thing. I know it's short, a top 5 instead of a top 10. But yeah, tough shit. Goodbye, everybody!